But my name's Haley Hellquist. I am the director over our connected devices, and I've had the privilege of working on not only Prism IO, our latest launch, but also on LumaSpot IO and WellSpot IO. I love devices. I love helping to build them. We do everything from prototyping to taking them to our manufacturer, to getting them out into our customers' hands, and then also connecting it up to the app experience as well. So working closely with our digital partners to make the connected experience come to life. So I'm excited to walk you through some of those Prism features, but I'll let Peter introduce himself really quick and then we can dive in.
Yeah, hey everyone. Haley did a pretty good job of introducing kind of the team and what we do. I like to say Haley and her team are the brains, and I'm, I was gonna say brawn, but it's really not that. I just help make the vision come alive, trying to bridge the gap between technology and then the marketing side of things. So we're excited to talk to you guys today.
Okay, awesome. So with that, I'm actually going to, hopefully this demo works. You never know how technology will go, but I'm going to share my screen. The goal of today is we're going to do a deep dive on the Prism IO app. So hopefully you're all at least a little bit familiar with Prism IO. We'll give a high level intro to the device. Okay, perfect. Can you guys confirm you can see it on your screen? You see the app? Perfect. Okay, awesome. Prism IO, my 15-second elevator pitch for a 15-second scanning device, is that what Prism IO does is it measures the concentration of carotenoids in your skin. That's our biomarker, and we give you a nutritional wellness score off of that. So based on measuring that concentration of carotenoids, we're able to determine a numerical score. And then from there, you can improve your score by taking supplements and changing some key lifestyle factors that will all help to improve your score over time. As part of that experience, though, the device itself is very small, and on it, there's no screen. You just get a color score. The power really comes from the app experience. So that's what we're so excited about. So Peter and I are passionate about, and it's been a really fun project to be able to build this and have it come to life. One thing that's super exciting too is Prism IO is a connected device, right? So not only does it just connect to an app, but we can continually make updates to the device and to the app over time. I think since we've launched we've probably done 3 or 4 big app updates since we've launched, and we've only been live for about 2.5 months, maybe 3 months. So what's exciting for us is just because we've launched the product doesn't mean that we are done, that we're moving on to something else. We are continuing to invest time and resources to help make this the best that it can be and to continue to build out those features. So the plug is always keep your app up to date and keep watching for some of these new features. We will walk you through what we have in the app today. And hopefully this will give you kind of a good understanding of what you can access and do in the app as part of that experience. So for today's time, I already have my device paired up to the app, but it's a really simple pairing process. All you need to do is just turn on the device, download the Prism IO app. You can log in with your existing Nu Skin account if you already have one. And if not, you can go ahead and create just a Nu Skin account to log in with. And then from there, you can pair up the device. It'll push a firmware update the first time you connect. And a firmware update, all that is it's just the software that runs on this device, how it thinks, similar to your phone. Your phone sometimes gets those software updates. It's the same process, but you pair it up, do a firmware update, calibrate your device, and then you're ready to go and run in the app. I'll show you a little bit on calibration. But first, let's go. This is the app. This is what you see in it today. Don't judge my score. I'm trying to get it up. I'm taking my supplements, don't worry. But this is kind of your dashboard when you first open up the app. You'll get to see your score on here, your last score, and then you can also go and fill out your Prism profile. And what your Prism profile is it's a series of questions that gauges your lifestyle, different factors on your health and your sleep and your stress. And we use that information to help give you a more robust product recommendation, which we'll get to in a second. Before we dive into, actually, let's go look at the Prism profile first. So this is the dashboard. Your Prism profile, if I click on this, will ask you a series of questions in the profile. So you can fill out your date, your gender, your ethnicity, all of these things factor in and help us learn more about you. And again, to give you deeper insights. You can then give your weight and height, say how many times you work out, how much sun exposure you receive in a day, if you smoke, how much sleep you get, your fruit and vegetable intake, all of these factors that we're asking about in the app, these are key contributors to your Prism score, right? And so I'm not sure who all have attended past workshop sessions, but we've dived into the technology and the supplements as well to understand kind of the science behind your Prism score and why not only just supplements impact it, but sun exposure, smoking, stress, all of those also impact your score. So as part of that, right, this is how we're learning, engaging, and seeing how we can give a better recommendation to you for how you can improve your score. And then lastly, we ask what current supplements you are taking and how often you're taking them. So from there, that's how you fill out your Prism profile. Make sure when you set up your device that you fill out that Prism profile. And also when you're scanning people to allow them to get a more personalized recommendation, make sure that they are filling out that profile as well. That's the homepage from here. We'll do a quick little, if you want to go and adjust settings in the app, there's up in this top right-hand corner, I can't point, but you see that person icon. This is kind of your settings page. So if you want to go and edit your profile again, if you want to go and change your market, we get a lot of questions about, hey, I have customers in different markets with different products. How can I go and show them those products that are available? You can go into here and change your market, change your language. You can also toggle off and on the AI product recommendation, which we'll showcase in a second. And then you can also choose the pricing format that you would like those products to be shown in. We know different markets and different affiliates have preferences for whether member price or retail price is shown. We give you that customization and flexibility in here. And then other things too, if you want to manage your subscription, this will link you out into the newskin.com page to do that. And then if you have any support questions, this will take you to a troubleshooting page. In this section of the app, you can always know if you're up to date on the latest app update. It will tell you the version that you're on. So for any troubleshooting or questions that you have, you can see that app version down there at the bottom. So that's a little bit of housekeeping on the app, but let's get into some of the main features. So on this next tab, this is the scan tab. This is where you'll go whenever you want to scan. So again, I've paired up my device. You'll see though, as soon as I turn it off, this will disconnect, right? So again, you need to make sure that your device is turned on when the app is open if you want to see those scan scores come through. So we'll turn it on. The device automatically pairs up with the app. And then from here, we can start to scan. There's two options when scanning. And this is really important, especially for data tracking and trend analysis. We have two modes that you can scan in. You can either scan myself or scan a guest. Scan myself is for, of course, you as a device owner, where you'll want to go and do all of your own personal scans. And we'll show you how you can track that on the other page. For scan a guest, this is where you'll go right if you're scanning family, friends, people who are interested in Prism. There are two different modes when scanning a guest though. If you look up in this top right-hand corner, there's the settings icon. You can actually switch between two different guest scanning modes. We have an info scan mode, which I'll actually show you. Once I go into scan a guest, it will pop up and say, okay, who are you scanning? You can either select from the list of people that you've already added, or if they're not in your list, you can hit add a new scannee. And then from here, fill out their name, their email address, and phone number. And then this will add them as a new scannee to that list. So again, this is for tracking purposes. And so we encourage you to always scan in info mode, but sometimes you may be at a big event or you need to scan, a bunch of people that you may not have time to gather all their information. So from there, you can just toggle to your open mode scanning. And then once I hit scan a guest, it will just automatically go into the scan flow. So from here, once you have that set up, let's talk about some scanning best practices. So one thing we need to remember is that the Prism IO device, this is a high science device, very precise. We are measuring carotenoids in the skin. You cannot see it. You can't feel it. They are so, so small. And so it's really important that while we're looking at such small measurements, that we are following best practices while scanning. The device is small. It doesn't necessarily look like a big piece of equipment, but we are measuring very precisely. So as part of that, the first thing you always want to make sure when scanning someone is that their finger is clean. If possible, it'd be great if they could wash their hands, but we understand that you may not always have that luxury or the ability to do that. So even just wiping your finger off, right? Finding a Kleenex or even hand sanitizer, right? Just to get any oils. If you've just put lotion on, right? A lot of the times that will impact your score. So making sure the finger is clean is really important. The next thing is to make sure the lens on the device is clean as well. You'd be surprised how dirty our fingers are, the fingerprints we leave on that lens. And so that can impact the scan results as well. And so every Prism IO comes with a little microfiber cloth. And you'll want to make sure that you use that microfiber cloth and wipe the lens. It doesn't take long. You don't need to do it very long, but just a quick wipe, make sure that there's no residue on there. That will also really help with the scan results. Oh, and I turned off my device. The other thing you want to make sure to do is we really encourage scanning on a flat surface. So as fun as it is to hold up the device and showcase or hold it in your hand, when you do this, you introduce some pressure variability, right? If you're holding it at a certain angle, if the finger's not on there all the way, right, that can impact the score as well. So make sure it's on a flat surface, so that way the person that is scanning can maintain their finger pressure. You also want to make sure that the finger's covering the lens completely, so you don't want to be scanning on the tip of your finger. You also don't want people scanning at this angle, right? Because again, scanning on the tip, you just want to make sure your finger is flat. And that's why it's best to do it on a table, flat surface. That will help as well. The other thing too is you do not need to press hard when you scan. Sometimes I see people come and scan and they press so hard. You can see, right, when you do that, you kind of blanch the skin, right? You can see the blood all being pushed out of the skin. You do not need to press hard. It's just light pressure, just enough for your finger to be able to cover the lens. That's all that matters. We are working on adding, as part of our ongoing app enhancements, we are working on a better instruction page. So right now, this is the page that pops up. It does say best results, place the pad of your index finger to make sure there's no light leaking. But in the next app update, we're going to have a better page that just lists out 3 simple steps to make sure that you have the best scan results. So with that, again, that will be huge, make a big difference for consistent scans and accurate scans. So don't forget that this is we are measuring such small, tiny measurements. And so to treat the measurements like you would at with any other wellness device, right? When you get your blood pressure taken, you have to uncross your legs. You should be sitting. You shouldn't be wearing a bulky sweater. Most diagnostic devices do have best practices for measurements. Okay, with that, let's go ahead and scan. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place my finger over the lens. One thing that I think is a great feature is if someone lifts up their finger or walks away or the finger's removed, we have this light leak alert, which notifies and says, hey, we can tell the scan was interrupted. All you need to do is just put your finger back on the lens and the scan will restart. And then from here, the device will scan for 15 seconds. And during that 15 seconds, we're taking over 700,000 light measurements. So we are scanning so quickly and collecting a lot of data to be able to give you your score. From here, there's my numerical score, 470. Again, I'm working on it. I'm trying to get it up. But once you get your score, you can go down and read about your score. So it says I scored in the green. This score is associated with moderate ranges of carotenoids. We list out some of the factors that may influence your score. We're working on putting articles in here. Right now, these are just static buttons, but soon we will have linked out articles and studies that you can click on to learn more about your score. The really cool part, though, in my opinion, is you can go to this recommended tab as soon as you scan. And this is where we are actually using AI to be able to come up with a product recommendation based on your score and based on your Prism profile. You'll notice that if you don't have your Prism profile filled out, you may not receive that unique of a recommendation compared to someone else. And that's because a lot of that personalization and recommendation tailoring hinges on that profile that we filled out. So from there, because my score needs to increase, right, most of the time we will always recommend LifePak because LifePak is our #1 product for increasing scores. But then from there, I have a few other product recommendations. We kind of have a good, better, best approach. So foundational support, that's for LifePak. Then a better option for me would be taking LifePak and TR Go. And then the best option would be a combo of LifePak, TR Go, and Mind 360. I'm not sleeping enough. I need to be sleeping better. And then from here, we have a button where you can just go and hit buy now. And then this will go and add your products to cart, which Peter will walk us through in a second. So we won't dive into that quite yet, but you have the opportunity to be able to go and purchase those products. You can also share your score. So with this button, hit the share icon, and then you can go and text out your score, share it with people, right? Post it on social media. It's fun to gamify it, right? And have a little bit of a competition as you increase your score. The other thing you can look at too is this history tab. So you can go and see all of my scan scores that I've had over time. Some features that we're working on in the future are to be able to go and show analytics on this. So be able to give you trend graphs over time, give you a better analysis of, if you're trending up, trending down, and again, coaching more on different lifestyle factors that you can do to help improve that score. So from here, once you're done scanning, you'll get brought back to this page. And again, you can either scan a guest or go back to scanning myself. And then also one feature that we just put in that I think was in our last app update is we have a battery icon for the device. You can see underneath the Prism IO name, we show you how much battery is there. This was something that was highly requested from you guys. And so it was a fun app update. But this just goes to show that we are constantly listening to the feedback you have, the things that you're looking for in the app, and improving that experience as quickly as possible. One thing I do want to show you as well is whenever you need to recalibrate your device, you will get a banner in the app that says calibration recommended. If you think that your device needs to be calibrated before then, what you can do is you can go into this settings icon up at the top. This is again where we toggle back and forth between info mode and open mode. You scroll down and then there's this option to go and calibrate the device. So I'll just show you how to calibrate really quickly because this is a really important step and I want to make sure everyone understands how to use it. So calibrate your device. You will need this calibration disc. So this comes in your packaging with your device. Every device comes with one, but this is how you will calibrate it and make sure that it is scanning accurately. So what you do is, like as you would with normal scanning, you want to make sure that you go ahead and clean that lens with the microfiber cloth. Clean lens before you calibrate. You also should make sure that your calibration disc doesn't have any fuzzies on it, right? If you keep it in your pocket, just make sure it looks clean, doesn't have lint on it. And then what you'll do is it's going to ask you for a 4-digit code on the back side. So it's hard to see on Zoom, but you have 4 letters that are printed on the bottom, and you'll just go ahead and enter those in to the app. And this is getting some calibration parameters from our cloud that are needed to be able to scan. And then from here, it's saying go ahead and place the disc with the tan side up. So I'm going to place it over the lens and then hit that it's ready to go ahead and continue. And then from there, it will run a 15-second scan. And this is just, again, each device has its own unique calibration parameters and settings. So we're putting those onto the device. Then it's saying to flip the disc. So I'm going to go from my tan side up to now my tan side being down. Place that over the lens. Once it's placed there, then hit go ahead. And this will do one more 15-second scan. And it's going to load those unique numbers onto the device to set that calibration. Then from there, you hit that the disc is removed. So you go ahead and pull it off. And then all that's left to do is just scan your finger. And this is just a way to be able to give you a score really quickly after you calibrate and make sure that your device is working correctly. But super easy to do. It's very fast. And we're working on some enhancements as well to help improve the calibration process. But that's where you can go if you ever have questions, if your device is working correctly or not. Just do a quick calibration to make sure that it's always up to date with the latest settings on there. Okay, lastly, I'm going to go walk us through Learn really quick, and then I'll turn it over to Peter. But the next part in the app is this learn section. So again, we've talked about how supplements aren't the only thing that can improve your score. There are other areas of health and wellness that you can work on to improve your Prism IO score. First is nutrition, right? So diet is a huge indicator, right? This is a nutritional wellness score. So everything we're putting into our body gets reflected as part of this score. So of course, the things you want to make sure you're fueling your body with are fruits, vegetables, and things that you might want to stay away from are sugar foods, high fat foods, alcohol. Those will all decrease your score. And something that's fun to go and show as you're talking to people, we have these graphs in here that actually pull in data that we have from past scans over the last 20 years, but you can see how the impacts on fruit and vegetable intake increase your score. So this is something, again, to showcase how this is important and why we should be eating healthy. Lifestyle, again, some suggestions on things that you should avoid as part of increasing your score. So, right, smoking, lack of sleep, and even being out in the sun. We have studies that show that UV exposure actually will lower your score. And again, here, you can go and play around with that graph as well to demonstrate just how much those scores are impacted. Fitness, BMI is a big indicator and contributor to your Prism score. So again, there we have another graph to walk through. And then lastly, of course, is supplements. So, and this one I feel like is the most fun to show, right? To go and see people's scores who never supplement, those that take Life Pack 1 time a day, and then those that take Life Pack 2 times a day. It's a huge difference in how that score moves. But this is a great area to be able to showcase and help educate just how powerful Prism is and why this is more than just a carotenoid score. It is a nutritional wellness score. We have a lot of fun ideas for how we're going to improve this section, bringing in AI more, want to bring in more clinical studies and articles to be able to make this a richer experience. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Peter to walk us through the rest of the app.
Awesome. Thanks, Haley. That's what I love about Prism is that, first of all, it tells you how you're doing, and then it tells you how to get better. So a lot of really cool things that we were shown just there. And then after that, we've just recently implemented this the shop tab, which is a little bit more of an open area for you to either go back and see your personal recommended products, and then kind of scan through, and you can shop straight from here, add to cart, and check out through your existing account. And then we also have the the Discover tab. I don't know how far I don't think we need to get too deep into the cart. It's pretty straightforward checkout process. And then the Discover tab here has our whole list of products that are related to Prism. Either they directly impact your scan score, or they can indirectly affect some of those factors that we know lead to better scan scores, but are not necessarily proven to directly affect scan scores. Either way, this is your catalog for finding good products that will help you improve your health and hopefully improve your scores as well. We are working on getting the product page right now. We just have these cards. We know people want to learn more about the product. So our next release, you'll be able to click the products and actually see the full details, do a little bit more investigation for what those products are. So that's coming really soon. And then going on to the history tab, this is obviously where you're going to have your historical scans. We break it out into your personal scans or people that you've scanned, which we call scannees. Or if you did a scan on the open mode and didn't collect information, we call that unassigned. So from here, you can go ahead and click on that little plus sign next to the person, and then you can assign that to an existing user. A question that we get, or add a new person as well. A question that we get a lot is, how do I see my scannees information? And so this would be the place to do that. If you can find a scan from one of your scannees, up there, you click into the scan, and then you can see in the top right corner, we have their profile, and that's where you can access the information from your scannees. So I think one thing that is really cool as well, Haley, did we show the? Oh yeah, we did. Sorry, no, we covered that one. And then we also recently came out with the customer journey for the app, which looks very similar. The biggest difference, I think, between the two is we don't allow you to share product recommendations. You can't do a product offer if you're a customer. And then the history tab only shows your personal history. We're working on other ways right now to make sure we can accommodate users that want to scan their friends and family and keep those records. That should be coming pretty soon as well. But these are kind
That's
of the
one
main
thing,
features. Yeah, go ahead.
Peter, sorry, I missed it on here. If we want to walk through the product offer really quick, I failed to show that one.
Oh, that's a C. I thought you did, and that's
Yeah,
on me for
yeah, that
not
was
paying
my bad.
attention. But as an affiliate, when you're walking through this journey and showing new people their scan score, the next step is to get them on products. We want to get them on a subscription to start improving their scores. And so we've built in the mechanism within Prism here where after you scan someone, you can, either show them their AI recommendations, or in this case, we are showing like a full list so I can create a kind of a custom product offer for them. So Haley here has selected a few products, and if she clicks that little cash icon, you can offer a discount directly from the app. And then when you hit quick share, it's going to pop open your native sharing feature for your device, and you can send that product offer directly. And then one other thing that happens every time someone scans is um, not for the person that owns the account, but if I go as an affiliate and scan Haley, Haley's going to get an email that shows her scan score and has a few things that help her learn about Prism, and also some links to products. We're working on improving the attribution through that flow to make sure that no matter how people check out, the attribution always goes back to the scan operator. A lot of cool stuff coming in that area. I want to kind of go through this as fast as possible so we can get to your feedback. Haley, do you think I missed anything?
No,
Okay.
I think we covered it. Yeah.
All right. We got like 17 minutes before Haley and I have to leave. But we'd love to hear what you guys think, how we can improve all of your feedback to make this better.
Hi, Haley. It happened to me the leak because I was doing the scan on the sun, like outside, and it won't work. So, what's the best way of doing? I thought my prism was broken. It happened to me inside the house, but it worked after a while, as you said, just to wipe it and just to cover it. But during the sunlight, like outside, because we were at the park, I was scanning people, and it happened, the leaking, and it won't proceed.
Yeah, so in the user manual, we actually suggest to scan indoors. Scanning outside, especially when it's really sunny and bright, may not only trigger that light leak alert, but may also actually impact your score as well. And so for best results, scan indoors, right? Or if you can find shade when you're outside. We're working on ways we can refine this a bit further. But again, this device is all about light and light absorption. So when you're in a really, really bright room, especially the sun with all that UV, it can impact those score results. So best recommendation is to just scan indoors or in a shady spot.
Just wanted to know if the app is the same on an iPhone as opposed to an iPad. Are the menus and structures exactly the same?
Yeah, so it's going to be the same options. There's no difference in functionality. Obviously, the screens will look a little different, but you should be able to do all of the exact same things.
If I'm gonna have an event with lots of people, but I'm gonna have just one scan, what's the best way that I can use the scan? Like I really want all my guesses to be scanned, but how I can share the results if it's gonna be like, let's say 15 people, what's the best way or what you can suggest?
Yeah. I guess my suggestion, if I understand the question correctly, is best if you're doing a really big, massive event, having lots of people scan, you may want to do it in open mode just to help get people through it faster, so you're not having them fill out name and email. But we of course would think it's best to have it in info mode to be able to put the name and email, because like Peter mentioned, when you have it in info mode where they fill out name and email, they'll actually get an email sent to them that gives them their score and directs them to product, right? And so that's again where we want our customers to go. So from that instance, that's what I would suggest, is just still keep it in info mode. So then when you go to your history tab, you can go and see who all you scanned as well. And then when they come back again next time, you can scan them again and see how they've improved. When you're in open mode, you don't have that visibility. You don't know unless you happen to just remember which scan was which.
And I would say one problem that we're aware of is it's a little awkward when it's my phone and I have a bunch of people that want to see all of the information on their phone. So we've been discussing ways that we can help facilitate this process where you can take a scan really quickly and then, these are just ideas. Nothing is quite in development, but potentially scan a QR code and then take it to be on your own device. So we are aware of that pain point. Oh, I went super blurry. We're aware of the pain point and looking for ways to improve that.
Hi, Peter. Sorry, I was just wondering if you could please walk us through again so I've got my Prism app now on, and I'm just wanting to follow through with you how you actually set the discount bit from the app itself. So you went to a scan and the recommended tab from the scan.
Yes. And it would need to be scanning a guest. It won't show up if you're scanning yourself.
Right. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
so it's
the biggest difference there. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
and I can even show you on here. So if we go back, so if I go to just my scan, so the one I did with you guys just barely, you'll see that on the recommended tab, I'm on myself.
Yep.
Once this AI pulls up, it's just going to give me the buy now option because it's my scan score.
Sure.
But then
Right.
to that point, if we go to Scannee, I'm sorry, I've signed up myself as a Scannee too over time to test this, but this is now a Scannee one. You can go to the recommended tab from here.
Yeah, and so the default here is that we'll show the retail pricing for when you scan a guest, and you know that you can add an additional discount to retail pricing in our regular product offer flows. In the beginning of the demo, Haley showed in the settings where you could switch it to show member pricing. So if you'd rather show your scannees member pricing, you can do that as well. And then the biggest difference here is that you cannot do an additional discount on member pricing. So that little discount button will disappear.
Sure. Sorry, where was that window that popped up with the discount member pricing?
Yes,
previous
you go
time?
so right now I'm just going in from history.
Yep.
So I'm going to go here. I clicked on, sorry, I'll go slower. Scannees. And sorry, I have some test ones in here. I click on a Scannee in there. Then I go to the recommended tab.
Yep.
And then from there, you can select the products you want. And then you see that price tag
Oh, the dollar
in the
sign
bottom
on the
left-hand
bottom.
corner. Yeah, that's the one right there.
Dollar sign.
Yeah, we tried to make it kind of discreet so that if your customer is holding the phone, they're not being like, "Oh, look, I can give myself a discount." So
Yeah.
it's kind of
Thank you.
a secret button for affiliates.
How best to introduce this machine to customers and to new customers?
Yeah, so I think the simplest explanation is, again, this is a nutritional wellness device. So how do you want to know how your nutrition and diet, how good they are, right? And the impacts of it on your body. So nutritional wellness score, you don't need to get into the details on all the technology, but if you want, you can tell them it uses LED lights combined with an AI algorithm to be able to give you that nutritional wellness score. But we know that there are other factors that impact this nutritional wellness score. And that's where you can go and show them even the learn section and say, hey, not only is it diet, but it's also some lifestyle, it's your exercising habits, and then supplements. I went to an investor meeting last week to be able to go and pitch this device. And something that I think really stood out is that resonated with people is, you think you're eating healthy, but we know with just modern technology, how foods have evolved over time, that we're not getting as nutritionally dense foods as we used to be getting as well, right? So you may say, I eat a ton of veggies, I eat a ton of fruits, but it may not, my score is still low, right? And that's where you can then tie in and say, okay, well, other great ways to improve it are supplements, but then making sure you're sleeping well, exercising, limiting sun exposure. But yeah, the elevator pitch, I think, is just, this is nutritional wellness device. And I believe, and I'm sorry, I know from a global perspective, we do have pitch decks as well that you can go and look through in Asset Library for just simple stories. The product narrative is an awesome way to go and just read up on the device, and we have some great just one-liners or simple explanations as well to help tell that story. So check out your Asset Library, and we have a lot of options there for you to go and read up on.
room, if you choose
Sure.
member pricing, Agnes was wondering, do they have to sign up as a member? Is it automated? And Peter has kindly answered that when you choose member pricing, it creates a member product offer, which requires the user to sign up as a member before they then check out. Agnes has another question. I'm just trying to correctly understand. So she's noticed that when she shares the best option, I assume a product recommendation with people, they can't deselect any of the products. There's no option to select one. The minimum they can select is one. She thinks it would be helpful if they could select 0 for some, because if they don't want all 3 product recommendations, they can't choose anything else. Does that, Hayley or
So-
Peter, does that make sense?
I think I understand. Haley, if you want to pull up the recommendation page again for a scanning. So the way the AI product recommendations are generated is, Haley, I think you turned off the AI one.
Oh, that's right. Hold
In
on.
the
Sorry, one
settings,
second,
yeah.
everyone. Yep, as part of my demo. That's why I
There
was
you go.
wondering why I was doing that. Okay. We will
So
go back to this now.
the way it gives AI recommended products is it's going to start with a base product. Generally speaking, that's going to be one of our life pack products. Not always, but that is very frequently the first one. And then you'll see that it kind of builds on that. So it'll be life pack, and then the next one is life pack and an additional product, and the third one will be life pack and the second product and an additional third product. So in this scenario, if they wanted to, like if you're only showing them this third option, and they say, well, I just want LifePack Nano, you can just scroll back up to the top and just quick share here. And then additionally, you can go to the custom tab on, you see we have new intelligence or custom. And if they don't want any of those, or maybe you have a preference that you say, those are good recommendations, but I think you might benefit from this. You could come to this list, select any product or combination of products you like, and then share that way. So there's kind of 2 different ways that you could approach that.
Yes, hi, this is Paula. I just wanna find out why that happened. We have like 3 prisms open, all of it like we were scanning all with all the 3 prisms, and there's like some differences on all the scores. So it's like, and of course I'm sure there's an explanation to this, and yeah, like we all tried scanning in all 3 different scanners, all opened at the same time, and it's actually there's like a discrepancy. So just wanted to know.
Yeah, great question. And this is something we've studied a lot as well. So what we've found is that there's variability in devices, right? And within one device and across multiple. And a lot of that has to do, again, with finger placement, like we've talked about. And if the lens was cleaned, if the finger is clean, that is probably most of the time the biggest cause in variability. But we also know even just if you place it a little bit different, right? We're talking about how we're measuring super, super small analytes, that if you place it a little differently, that might impact the score. What we found, though, that's within our acceptable ranges is if you're scanning on the same device, so I have this one device, and I scan multiple times on it, we see about a 10% variability, which is plus or minus 50 points on the device. That is within normal range, and actually very similar to a lot of other diagnostic devices like heart monitors, glucose monitors. And that can also be interpreted as like one color band change, right? So we have those 18 color bands. Well, as you can see in my screen back here, you may see a fluctuation of about one color band. Now, when it comes to multiple devices, so scanning across a few of them, we see a little bit more variation there, but a lot of that has to do too with how the devices are calibrated, and if they're calibrated correctly too, making sure that the lens was cleaned before it was calibrated. And then again, following the best practices on all. But within across device variability, we see about a 20% variation. So a little bit more than just on the same device. And that's about plus or minus 100 points or 1 to 2 color band differences. But again, for hardware and as, with the precision hardware that we do have, that's within acceptable ranges for this device. We're always looking at ways to improve it. But again, when those best practices are followed, calibration best practices are followed, that's the variability that you can expect to see.
Scanned multiple people, but you don't have the time to fill in their Prism profile, then
You've got their email, they get their email sent to them. Can they fill in their Prism profile later themselves so that they can get their recommendations?
I see. At the moment, they would need to, like, say Haley is an affiliate and I am a scannee. I just scanned, but I didn't fill out the profile. I get the email. For me to be able to fill in my profile, I would still need to access my profile that's on Haley's device. So we don't have a mechanism outside of the app to handle the profile questions at the moment. But that's a good piece of feedback that we could consider for future.